Welcome to the 5-Minute History podcast from 5minutehistory.com, where we take a historical look at things in about 5 minutes. Before we get into this week's episode, we just wanted to let you know that we are rebranding to become part of the Compact Histories network. Look out for the changes, which will begin over the next few weeks. There's nothing for you to do, as episodes will continue to appear in this feed. So, with that being said, let's get on with episode 88, The History of Stamps. For most of us, stamps are tiny squares we stick on envelopes. But behind that sticky strip lies a story that spans centuries, continents, and significant social change. The history of stamps is about more than just mail. It reflects innovations in communication, the growth of nations, and even the evolution of how wars were fought and won. Before there were stamps, posting a letter was a surprisingly complicated affair. In the early days of organized mail, particularly in the 17th and 18th centuries, the person receiving the letter paid the postage, not the sender. Rates were based on distance and weight, and it could become quite expensive. Sometimes, recipients refused to accept the letter to avoid the fee, leaving the postal system frustrated and the senders unheard. By the early 1800s, reform was needed. Enter Rowland Hill, a British educator and social reformer. He believed the postal system should be more straightforward, more affordable, and paid for by the sender. In 1837, he published a pamphlet proposing a uniform postage rate and the use of a prepaid adhesive label. This idea, radical at the time, would revolutionize global communication. On the 1st of May 1840, Britain issued the world's first official adhesive postage stamp, the penny black. It featured a profile of Queen Victoria and cost 1 penny to send a letter up to half an ounce anywhere in the UK. It was an instant success. The stamp wasn't just practical, it was symbolic. For the first time, a single, affordable method of communication was available to the masses. The concept spread quickly. Other countries adopted stamps and uniform rates. Brazil followed in 1843 with the bullseye stamps, and Switzerland, the US, and others joined the postal revolution soon after. The US issued its first stamp in 1847, featuring Benjamin Franklin, the country's first postmaster general. As stamps became standard, they evolved. Designs shifted from simple portraits to reflect national pride, historical figures, and artistic trends. Commemorative stamps began to appear in the late 19th century, marking significant events such as jubilees, wars, and international exhibitions. These issues sparked new interest beyond mailing. They created a community of collectors. Stamp collecting, or philately, grew rapidly as a global hobby. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, stamp clubs, exhibitions, and catalogues were common. Children and adults alike were drawn to the miniature artworks and their stories. Some stamps became famous, even legendary. The British Guiana 1-cent magenta from 1856, for instance, is the rarest stamp in the world. Just one exists, and it has fetched millions at auction. But stamps haven't just been about collectors and correspondence. They have also played roles in war and propaganda. During World Wars I and II, stamps were used to boost morale, promote patriotism, and deliver covert messages. Enemy nations sometimes forged stamps to disrupt communication or undermine the legitimacy of their adversaries. They became tools of both unity and subversion. Postage stamps also marked political change. After revolutions, newly formed countries or regimes often issued stamps to declare their identity. When colonial empires collapsed, the birth of new nations was frequently first seen on a stamp. A flag, a new leader's portrait, or even a name change signaled transformation through these small pieces of paper. technology brought further evolution. In the latter half of the 20th century, printing techniques became more sophisticated, and stamps were made in a wide range of colors, textures, and materials. Some countries issued scented stamps, holograms, or stamps shaped like fruit or animals. Others experimented with self-adhesive formats, which made licking stamps to stick them to envelopes a thing of the past. By the 2000s, digital communication had become increasingly prevalent. Email, instant messaging, and online bill payments significantly reduced the volume of traditional mail. This shift posed a challenge to postal services worldwide. Fewer letters meant fewer stamps needed. Some nations reduced the number of new issues, while others leaned into the collectible and artistic appeal to keep stamps relevant. Despite these changes, stamps continue to be part of global culture. They still appear on postcards, packages, and formal mail. More importantly, they've become historic artifacts. Each stamp tells a story, not just of what it was meant to send, but of the time and place that produced it. In recent years, some postal services have adapted by releasing limited edition items and collaborating with artists or pop culture franchises. These collectible runs attract not only philatelists, but also fans of film, music, and history. In this way, stamps continue to educate, entertain, and connect us. And let's not forget their role in diplomacy. Stamps are often used in cultural exchange and international goodwill. They offer a glimpse into a country's heritage, values, and achievements. Some are so beautiful or rare that they're displayed in museums. The history of stamps is, in essence, the history of modern communication. What began as a small reform in Britain quickly became a global standard. From monarchs to musicians, from revolutions to rainforests, stamps have depicted it all. They may be small, but their impact has been enormous. So, next time you spot a stamp on a parcel or tucked away in a drawer, take a closer look. You might just be holding a tiny time capsule, a work of art, or a piece of history in your hand. Thanks for listening to the 5-Minute History Podcast from 5minutehistory.com. If you enjoy the show and would like to support us, please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you would like to support us more directly, then please consider buying us a coffee. Head on over to 5minutehistory.com/coffee to see how. You may also be interested in our other 5-minute podcasts, which you can find at 5minuteproductions.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.